There's a girl in Scripture whose name we never learn. We know her father was Jephthah, a judge of Israel, a man with a complicated past and a desperate prayer. We know she came dancing out of her house with tambourines to celebrate her father's victory. We know she was his only child. And we know she said yes. I've been thinking about her lately, this unnamed daughter, because I think we misunderstand her story. We read it as tragedy, and perhaps it was. Biblical scholars still debate exactly what happened to her, whether Jephthah's vow meant her life or her future, whether she was sacrificed or consecrated to serve God for the rest of her days, never marrying, never having children of her own. But here's what strikes me. Her response. When her father told her about his vow, when he explained what her obedience would cost her, she didn't run. She didn't rage. She asked for 2 months to grieve with her friends, to mourn the life she thought she'd have, the husband, the children, the ordinary future that every girl in her time expected. And then she came back. "My father," she said, "you have given your word to the Lord. Do to me as you have said." I want to be careful here because this isn't a story about fathers having authority to make harmful vows over their daughters. Scripture itself seems to indicate Jephthah's vow was rash, perhaps foolish. This isn't a prescription for how families should work. But Jephthah's daughter, she shows us something about the kind of heart that surrenders to God's purposes, even when those purposes are painful, even when they don't make sense, even when they cost everything she thought her life would be. She mourned. That matters. She didn't pretend the loss wasn't real or stuff down her grief with spiritual platitudes. She took 2 months to weep over her virginity, which in her culture meant weeping over the children she'd never have, the household she'd never keep, the legacy she'd never leave. She felt the full weight of what surrender would cost, and then she surrendered anyway. When I think about raising daughters, I don't think my goal is to raise girls who never struggle, who float through life untouched by difficulty, who get everything they want and never have to sacrifice. That would make for a pleasant childhood, maybe, but it wouldn't make for a woman of substance. The women I admire most, the ones whose faith I want my daughters to emulate, they all have this quality. They've surrendered something. A dream that didn't come true. A path they thought was theirs that God redirected. A comfort they released because obedience asked them to. And here's the thing about surrender. You can't manufacture it in a crisis. Jephthah's daughter didn't suddenly develop a surrendered heart the day her father came home victorious. That kind of immediate, willing yes comes from years of smaller yeses, years of choosing God's way over her own, years of practice in trust. So, what does this mean for us here in this dailiness of raising daughters? It means the small surrenders matter. When she doesn't get the part in the play, when her friend group shifts and she's on the outside, when something she worked hard for doesn't turn out. These aren't just disappointments to fix or difficulties to smooth over. They're practice. Not in a cold, toughen up sort of way. We grieve with her. We hold space for the real loss, just like Jephthah's daughter's friends went with her to mourn. But we also gently, consistently point her towards the deeper truth that her life is not her own to control, that God's plans are worth trusting even when they hurt, that a surrendered heart is the most beautiful thing a woman can possess.
I want to mention, if you're finding value in these conversations, I write a weekly newsletter that goes a bit deeper than what I can share here. It's free, it's personal, and honestly, the women who read it have become such an encouragement to me too. I'd love for you to be a part of it. The link is in the description.
She watches us, you know. She watches how we respond when our own plans fall apart. She watches whether we white-knuckle our way through difficulty or whether we open our hands and say, Lord, this isn't what I wanted, but I trust you. Jephthah's daughter has been remembered for thousands of years. The text tells us that the women of Israel commemorated her every year, 4 days devoted to remembering this girl who said yes, when yes cost everything. She has no name in Scripture, but she has legacy. And maybe that's the most beautiful thing of all, that a life fully surrendered to God's purposes echoes through generations, even when the world never learns your name. May we raise daughters who can say yes, and may we show them how.
If you liked what you saw me working on today, I'd be honored to have you visit my shop. Everything I make is handcrafted with the same care you just watched, designed for real girls with real hair. The link is right below.